Welcome back to the kitchen. Today I'm going to be talking about a mod that I'm going to do to my Line 6 DL4. Now I bought this pedal specifically for one effect, that's reverse echo, and the way I use that is there's no straight guitar coming through the amp at all. It's just all this reverse delay sound. When I engage the effect, there's a volume drop, so it's quiet when I turn it on, and I use this effect only for solos, and so it was a complete through because having it quiet in some situations that's fantastic, but for what I'm trying to do, it kind of really leaves me in the dark. Also, the power jack, there's a reset pin for when you like unplug it and that thing pops up. Well, it's not popping all the way up. There's also diode failures in these boards. So if you have one of these DL4s and the batteries aren't working anymore, take a look inside the power jack and you'll see there might be a little gap at the bottom of it. A little tab is supposed to pop up and make connection. That is not making connection anymore in this. So I can replace that and the batteries will work once again. Today's mod, I've got to warn you, it is SMD. These are the resistors that I removed. I don't know if you can see that, but they're small little guys. They're 36K resistors that set the gain for the buffer. So I'm going to replace those. In mine, I'm going to go with 22K. 24K resistor will provide some boost. Stock is a 36K, and that's where we're getting that it's quiet. So by reducing that value to 24K, you'll get some boost. It'll be a little bit louder. 22K, he said, was too loud. 26K for this guy was perfect. Well, I only have 22K, and I like it loud, so that's what I'm going to go with. You got to be careful with SMD. It's very small stuff, and you don't want to lift the traces. There's copper on the circuit board, and that will lift up if you keep messing with it. You want to do this in one shot. I didn't have any metal films. I'm using regular 1/4 watt, the tan ones, and I just went through my batch of 22Ks and used my multimeter and checked the resistors because these are 5% tolerance. So what I did, I folded over one leg of the resistor, and then I put a little heat shrink tubing on the one side, and then I bent the bottom of where the two leads come down. I bent them into an L shape and snipped them off, and then I'm using my helping hand, using the chassis to stabilize the board, and the helping hand with a little slab of wood to hold it in place, and I'm going to go in there, put a little flux on it. I'm going to go in there and real carefully solder in both sides. When I'm finished, I'll probably put an additional piece of shrink boot over the top. Then we'll fire this thing up and see if it's working. So that's about it. SMD stuff, it's a fact of life, and I know that it's scary to work with. But I would encourage you, if you're gonna attempt something like this, go through your shed, go through your storage area where you keep your junk, find an old modem or something that's SMD and practice removing the components. They do have different scale sizes of these components. Some of them are really, really small. Other ones are just unbelievably tiny. So yeah, you want to maybe warm up to it a little bit before you go digging into one of your $300, $400 boxes to do a mod. But I'm going to go ahead and move on with this, and we'll see if it works. Well, I'm back, and the operation was a success, the mod board. Anyway, if you have a Line 6 DL4 and that volume drop always frustrated you, I encourage you to go ahead and do this mod. It really isn't that difficult. The most challenging part of this mod is removing the SMD resistors involved. So you could practice up on that, go find something, a broken piece of electronics, go buy something for $2 at the Salvation Army and practice removing stuff. It's always easier to rip something apart than it is to put it back together. Once I had both resistors installed, I went ahead and got a 1/4 inch diameter piece of shrink boot, and I cut a couple little shanks out and put them on top of each resistor, hit that with the heat gun just to protect it a little bit. As far as the teardown and reassembly on the DL4, it is absolute walk in the park. It's like 9 fasteners, you need a Phillips screwdriver. There's a couple spring clips that lift out for the C batteries, the 5 plastic nuts that come off the back where the 1/4-inch jacks fasten up. Then there's like a post, like a standoff, like an 1.5 inch long standoff that comes out of the center. So yeah, the pedal is actually designed pretty good. Now, if you want to get a better look at what's going on with this mod, I typed in line 6 DL4 volume drop, and that took me to Harmony Central thread. Thank you very much to Dr. Gonzo Guitar for taking the time to photo document your modification, provide the information that gave me the confidence to go ahead, tear into this thing, and fix it. I mean, this has bothered me ever since. I paid a lot of money for that pedal, and I had no idea that it had a volume drop. I mean, I never would have, but now, hey, you know, and I feel like I goof for having it for this long and not typing that into the internet search. Anyway, that's what the interwebs is all about for me. So what a wonderful age we live in. The resistors you're going to be looking for are R36 and R37. R36 and R37, which is ironic because the original part value is a 36K and the part number is R36. Now, according to the forum thread, a 26K, lowering it from the stock value of 36 to a 26, gives you a perfect balanced match between the dry and the wet signal. 24K, if you were going to cut a 24K in, it'll give you a little volume boost. I didn't have I had a 27 and a 20 and a 22s. So I went through and used my multimeter to find a match pair. They were 22.07 and 22.08 respectively. And so honestly, I'll go ahead, my pedals are all kind of ripped apart right now, so I just have a test oscillator going here, and you can hear there really isn't that much of a volume boost. I've got it set on reverse mode here. So here is 100% wet. This is the wet sound all the way over with my modified resistors. Blending it over to straight and then back. Not much. So, like I said, thank goodness for the www World Wide Webs, the internet. That's just absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much. Whoever came up with this mod, I wish I knew the guy's name so I could thank him personally. If you're nervous about doing this, there are guys, you can look into having it done professionally and modified by a real pro. If you're good with a soldering iron, you know, I encourage anybody to get into DIY. I'd encourage anybody to get a DUI. Yeah, look at me. It's a fantastic hobby, especially if you're a musician in this day and age. You have no excuse. Get out there and make some fuzz boxes and burn your fingers with a soldering iron. It's so much fun. So, thank you once again for supporting my channel, for the views, subs, and comments. I really do appreciate that. I got some exciting, fun, cool stuff coming up. So stay tuned, check into my channel. Why not go ahead and subscribe? Gonna have some awesome pedal demos coming up. Bunch of crazy DIY stuff, more music-related madness. Check this thing out. This is a sneak preview for a video I'm gonna have coming up soon. This is something I threw together yesterday night. Makes kind of a racket. Check this thing out. Peace and keep on.